If you want to continue to follow our adventure, click subscribe. So you don't miss anything, click the bell notification. Oh, last on the road, subscribers and followers. Well, I thought, I would do a kind of a day in the life of a nomad, living out here at free campsites in our homemade truck camper. Now, the thing about this is not really a day in the life, but these are some of the common activities that we have to do. 5:30 or 6 o'clock, especially here in the summer, I usually get up around sunrise. I get up, I start the generator, which is not a big task. I mean, you go out there, you start it up, plug it in, and then I have to change over from the inverter to the generator. So I unplug the house electric from the inverter, which inverts DC electric into AC electric. Well, now that I'm just going to charge the batteries, I don't need the inverter. I can use the generator to run my appliances. So I just switch everything over to the generator and run it until everything's charged up, and then I put it back over to the inverter. So I run that for about 2 hours. While I'm on the generator, I can turn the internet on. That way I'm not, just wasting battery. The internet comes through the truck. It's OnStar. So while I'm on the internet, I can edit videos, answer questions on yesterday's video. But I do spend about 2 to 3 hours editing videos, uploading videos. So I do that every morning. While I'm doing that, of course, I'm making some coffee, the most important part of the day. And we just use a percolator coffee pot on our Coleman-like stove. It takes about, 20 minutes. So after the 2 hours, the battery gets charged up. Then it's time just for kind of the routine chores that we have to do. And we don't do these every day. But for example, showers, depending on how hot it is outside, how cold it is, we take a shower about every 2 to 3 days. And that takes a little bit of a setup. And I've gotten it down to about, 10 minutes to set up. I have to fill the pump bucket that I've designed. It's a bucket that has a pump attached to it, and that pump then pumps water to our water heater. Take a shower right inside the camper now. We hang tarps up inside our little stand area. Another chore that we have to do regularly is I filter water, drinking water, through our Berkey system. Now, this I have to babysit. I don't have to. What I can do is just fill the Berkey up, let it drip down into the lower chamber, and then we got 3 gallons of drinking water. But that really is hard on the filters, because if you understand how Berkey works, you got the top chamber, you fill it up, and you got a water filter about, that high. And as the water level drops, the filter up here on the top is no longer filtering. It's empty. There's nothing there to filter. So down here actually does more filtering than up here. So what I do is I keep the top chamber full of water all the time. That way, the entire filter is filtering water. That way, it will extend the life of these filters. They're about $100 a set, so I try to keep them as long as I can, and especially with some of the water conditions that we have to do. So that means I spend a good portion of the morning, about an hour and a half, filtering water every 2 days. I make 5 gallons of water, and then when I'm done, I just take the whole upper chamber and I just dump it back in so I don't have to, so that water doesn't come down to the lower part. Another thing I have to do, and I do this every 2 weeks, is I change the oil and do the maintenance on the generator. I'm supposed to do maintenance on it every 100 hours, and I do it around 70 to 80 hours. And so what I got to do is I got to take the back off, I got to drain the oil, then I refill the oil, I got to clean the air filter, and then I have to, they got this little device on there where it's called a spark arrestor. And you have to clean that regularly, otherwise it gets clogged up and it'll damage your engine. And a spark arrestor, you have to take the side of the generator off. Now, this generator is really nice. It's really nice, but it does take a little extra work trying to do the maintenance on it, because you got to take all the paneling off to do the maintenance. Finally, I clean the spark plug every time. Here's what I've noticed about the spark plug. If you run the generator really fast all the time on the high, there's 2 settings, high and low. If you run it on high the entire time, the spark plug doesn't need cleaned. But if it's running on low all the time, it gets gummed up about every 80 hours. So I just clean that spark plug every time. Now, the last generator we had lasted about 2,000 hours. It lasted an entire year. Never had a problem with it. Of course, it got burned up in the camper fire. So I don't know how long that would have lasted. It was showing no signs of having a problem. Okay, now getting around 2 o'clock. Now this depends on what time zone we're in, but over here in the mountain time zone, I post a video at 2 o'clock. So that takes about an hour. That means I actually release the video from what's called private mode over to public. I post it in Facebook and Google+. So I mean, it takes about an hour. Of course, I try to answer some questions and comments while I'm in there. Now during that time, I have to run the generator, of course, but that's only, you know, for a half hour or so I can have the internet on. And then I have to, when that's done, I start recording more videos. So I got something to edit tonight and then tomorrow, which I haven't talked about tonight yet. So I edit, I record, I try to do 2 videos. That way I'm always working ahead a little bit. That way when we travel, I got some videos so I don't have to pull off on the side of the road, try to edit a video, record a video in a rest stop or a Walmart parking lot or anything like that. I don't want to do that. So I tried to build up a few. I used to have 2 weeks of videos already made. Since the fire, I've gotten way behind on that. And then after that, Carolyn starts cooking some supper for us. She's a great cook. And you know, I don't even try to record what she does because then everybody want to know the recipes. And she never makes the same meal twice. It's always perfect with the new flavor every time. So. And then so around 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, we eat. Then we do dishes, which is not a big deal. It only takes a few minutes to do dishes. What we try to do is we limit the amount of dishes we use. So, for example, if she makes a pot of soup, we may not even use bowls. We may just eat right out of that pot together. That way, you know, it limits the amount of dishes and limits the amount of water that we have to use to wash the dishes. Okay, about 6 o'clock, again, I start the generator. And then I charge batteries so I run the generator twice a day. And again, I do it for about 2 hours. And while the generator is on, again, I'm editing videos. I'm answering questions on YouTube and Facebook. I try to answer everybody's questions or reply to their comments. And so again, I do that for about 2 hours until about 8 o'clock. And then at 8 o'clock, that's when we kind of just shut down. And we watch some Netflix movies or TV shows. And about 11 o'clock, then we head off to bed. So, thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe. Click like if you like the video. And happy travels.